Okay, so now that we have an awesome painting done by Gracie and the Makey Makey connected to that painting to make it interactive, we're moving on to the code to help tell everything what to do. And we're going to use Scratch for this project. In Scratch, we can head over to Events, and in Events, we have these event blocks, these hats, that are connected to our keyboard, different keys on the keyboard. And you can see that it starts out with when space key is pressed, but we can click on this drop down and we can see all of our 4 directions, up arrow, down arrow, right arrow, left arrow are all here, which is perfect because that's what the Makey Makey is using, our directional keys, right? So we can start out by saying this one with the up arrow, and we can add 3 more to this and choose different keys in our directions, like so. So we have up arrow, down arrow, right arrow, left arrow. These are all events, so when these events happen, we want something to happen, right? And those things, Gracie was thinking it would be really cool to have sound connected to her painting so that she can say things and our Toronto family can hear her voice and things like that whenever they want. And one really cool thing that she thought of was to make a story that connects to the painting that she made, right?
Yep.
Okay, so if we go into our sounds, you can see that we've already started this story. We have these different sound clips that are, we called them Gracie Story 1, Gracie Story 2, Gracie Story 3. I'm just going to bring our volume up a little bit so we can hear these. And why don't we just test these out to see how they go. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here.
Once upon a time, there was a girl named Gracie who hadn't seen her Toronto family in forever. In order to get to them, she had to cross the mountains and try to skip the waterfall.
Okay, so there's part 1 of the story.
Many years had passed and still she wasn't able to travel over those mountains. Until one day she was able to get in a plane that flew over the giant mountains all the way to Toronto.
Such a cool story, eh?
Yeah.
And then the last part of the story.
It took a while until she got there, but when she arrived, her family was so happy to see her, and they promised each other that they would come together more often.
All right. And because we have 4 buttons, we thought we'd add one last button where you can just say that you love Grampy and Glammy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's add a new sound. So all we're doing is clicking up here on the microphone, say record new sound, and you can see it pops up here. And we're going to rename this sound Gracie, great key, it's funny, eh? Story, and we'll say this is 4, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to get my cursor on the record button, and are you set?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, and you can start talking, right?
Yeah.
Here we go.
I love you, Grampy and Glammy.
There. Now, there's our sound clip, and we can see a lot of dead space before the actual speaking and after the actual speaking. So the neat thing we can do with Scratch is actually select that dead space, and if we go down to Edit, we can delete it. And at the end too, right? We can say delete. So now this is your sound clip here. So if we listen to that,
I love you, Grampy and Glammy.
that works, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's go back to our script. We have our 4 sound files there. We want to add them into this. Now sound, easy enough, is found in sound. And we can see under sound, we can see play sound. And we can pick the sound that we want to play. And in here we can just do an order, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's duplicate, click it in, duplicate, click it in, duplicate, and we'll click it in. So we have Gracie Story 1, we can say Gracie Story 2, Gracie Story 3, and finally Gracie Story 4. So let's try this. So the story starts out with up arrow. Do you want to press up arrow?
Once upon a time, there was a girl named Gracie who hadn't seen her Toronto family in forever. In order to get to them, she had to cross the mountains and try to skip the waterfall.
Then down arrow next.
Many years had passed and still she wasn't able to travel over those mountains. Until one day she was able to get in a plane that flew over the giant mountains all the way to Toronto.
Okay, so what's next?
It took a while until she
Right
got
arrow.
there, but when she arrived, her family was so happy to see her, and they promised each other that they would come together more often.
And last one is left arrow.
Okay,
I love you, Grampy and Glammy.
that's awesome. I think that sounds great. High five. So this is our code for the painting. It's pretty simple code, right?
Yep.
Didn't take long to make, but it's going to be really cool to connect all of this together. So I think we can just leave this like this. Next thing that we have to do is connect our computer to the Makey Makey and the painting, and we'll sit and wait till Grampy gets home.